Before we start, can you tell me who is Alireza?
Yes, hi. Thank you for having me today. Yes, I'm Alireza. I'm a German-based lawyer, I could say a crypto lawyer, and I'm active in this sphere for many years, since 2014.
And what kind of mission you are on? What brought you here in this domain?
Yeah, so when I started becoming a lawyer, I was mostly focusing on the I would say the interesting topics, not the plain vanilla topics. So I was doing some Islamic banking, some Islamic finance stuff in the beginning, and then in 2014 I was looking into Bitcoin, and at that time I was a lawyer with PwC. And I was introducing Bitcoin to my colleagues because we are doing a project with the European Commission looking into how to do banking without banks. And I was telling my colleagues, I found something, and I don't know if it's like an investment asset or if it's like an payment instrument, but it is very interesting. So it was in 2014. And so it was too early because my colleague said, yeah, it sounds interesting, but we can't really do anything with Bitcoin as an advisor. So we cannot advise our clients to do something with Bitcoin. But at that time already, the German regulator BaFin was looking into Bitcoin. They did the first publication globally. So the German regulator BaFin did the first publication globally, giving warnings against Bitcoin. And I was thinking, okay, if the regulator is giving warnings, this must be interesting. And the Financial Action Task Force, the FATF, was also publishing information on that. And since I'm a regulatory lawyer, I was thinking, okay, the practice or the business follows the regulation. So if the regulator is saying something against Bitcoin, this is a strong sign that this thing will really grow. And so I continued looking into it. So I was allowed to look further into it, and I was working a lot with non-lawyers to do something with Bitcoin as a project. And then in 2016, 2017, when the ICOs kicked off, I was still with PwC, and my colleagues, they all wanted to do some projects because then they could do it. And they found me again, and I quickly became the head of PwC Europe for everything related to ICOs and also part of the global crypto initiative. And I would say since 2016, 2017, it massively grew. And now I'm doing 99% of my projects related to crypto and blockchain. I'm not only working with banks and financial institutions, asset managers, but also a lot with fintechs, startups. And this is what brought me to Blockchain Founders Group. I'm supporting startups and supporting anyone who's doing anything with crypto from the beginning by giving them the hand and trying to explain to them if the business makes sense from a regulatory perspective. And because I've seen a lot of businesses, also back in the NFT time, and I'm trying to give advice on how to do the business in a way that they will not get stopped by regulation or by some other legal means. And this is what I'm doing.
Like, what does mentoring startup means to you? I mean, there must be a deep down passion, and I want to understand what's your passion,
Yeah, I mean, my passion is, I mean, now in the digital age, I would call it, we see lots of companies, young companies, which become successful. But to get there, I think there are also lots of steps which you need to know, need to understand, not to do it wrong. And so when I speak to startups and young founders, what my goal is to give them from the beginning some solution or show them a way which way they can go and maybe become successful. And I did it with a couple of German companies, for example, Timeless Investments and some others, where they help them from the scratch. Like I really help them from the scratch, tell them, okay, this is where you can go in the next 1 till 3, 5 years. And my passion and my goal is to help startups to see that they really set their business and they really develop their business, and at some point maybe become a unicorn. And this is something which would help not just the startup but also make me happy. Yeah.
Okay, my question is, you said from 2014 and then you got interest in Bitcoin, and then only until 2016 and 17, the regulatory kind of putting attention into this space. In between, I assume you had a lot of ups and downs. And then can you share a little bit about those?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I think when it comes to crypto or Web3, education is key, and this is very important, not just for startups, but for the whole industry. So what we did in between, like 2016, Professor Philip Sandner, my dear friend who has passed away, we did in 2016, like one of the first roundtables with banks and CEOs of banks and asset managers, where Philip was explaining blockchain and Bitcoin from an economic perspective, and I did it from a regulatory perspective. But this was before the Crypto Assets Conference was created. And so I think we did a great job, but some of the audience, they didn't take us serious. I mean, those audience which now all do crypto and do crypto business, they were telling us, yeah, Bitcoin is only a tulip and it's gonna burst and it's not gonna work out. And they were asking us, okay, how does it really work with all this blockchain, and what is behind it? Why are people investing in it? Why is the price going up and down? And then Philip and myself, we looked at each other and said, okay, are you talking about Bitcoin or blockchain? It's all the same. Okay, oh, come on, guys. So, I mean, these were like the people we were talking to, but I mean, we didn't, I mean, after that roundtable, Philip and myself, we got closer together, we shook hands, we said, okay, you know what, we have to continue doing that. Even though they didn't take us 100% serious, this is not just a sprint, this is a marathon. You have to go all the way, and you need to educate the whole industry to make them understand not just what is Bitcoin, but what is blockchain, DLT, and what is the opportunities we have. And so this was just one example, but it perfectly illustrates the up and downs, because this kind of discussions we didn't only have with CEOs and managers on C-levels from banks, but also with colleagues, like people who really questioned me and who challenged me and said, is this really something you think you can make a living for, you can earn money with, blockchain and DLT? And I was always saying, yes, of course. I mean, just follow the trend of Bitcoin and see how Bitcoin is growing, because everything basically is correlating with Bitcoin. And if the Bitcoin price is going up, then the industry will follow, because everything is correlating with Bitcoin. And this was one thing which we always said. And the second thing which we said is just follow the regulation, and if you see that the regulation is coming for crypto, then the business is coming. So business always follows regulation.
Like, talking about regulation and political attention, what do you think right now in a global perspective? You know, Donald Trump, and then right now, I mean, we already have EU MiCA since a while, and then now a lot of emerging market startups are coming up. Crypto is a global thing. So how do you see everything as a whole?
So everything as a whole, I see it, there are positive and negative sides, definitely. One thing which is negative, and what I think every startup and every founder should be aware of, what I also said when we had the NFT hype, don't follow the hypes, don't follow the small hypes. And this is something founders and people in crypto tend to do, the quick money, doing the quick money. And this is something very negative when it comes to crypto. So following the money and doing an NFT without any real business behind it, having like just an image and saying, okay, yeah, I have an NFT, I issued an NFT, so I want to become rich, doesn't work out. We saw it also lately with meme coins. All these meme coins, in my humble opinion, there's no business behind it. Of course, there are some meme coins which raise attention, and there's a whole story behind it. If you look at the Dogecoin and other coins, fair enough. But if a founder, if someone wants to do something with crypto and Web3, I always say, if you have a business case, you have a nice business case, then it works out. And this is something where when it comes to innovation, and crypto definitely works out. So what I see is that right now with the crypto and Web3 environment globally, we're really in a good position. We have a strong momentum. We have the regulation in Europe. We have the Trump administration in the US. So we have, what is very important for crypto, we have a borderless environment. In the past, when we had the SEC in the US, we could only say, yeah, do the business in Europe, but exclude US. Do the business in Europe, but exclude China. But now more and more players globally move to accepting crypto as an instrument which is accepted in the industry. And that's why I say we have a momentum. And this momentum, if anyone wants to do business in crypto, you can use it, you can leverage on it, and you can have a really, really nice opportunity. But don't fall for the quick money. Don't look for the next quick NFT or quick meme, because this is something which I've seen in the past always failed. But this is also something which attracts lots of people in the crypto industry. And I think this is something which is very damaging for the reputation of the whole crypto and Web3 industry.
Do you think nowadays the crypto landscape is already borderless enough? Or as a legal perspective, you are a lawyer, so in terms of international transaction, I believe there are a lot of things startups need to pay attention of.
Yes, I mean, I think it's not 100% borderless. I can give you 2 or 3 small examples. When you look at the USDD, so the Tether USDD, so Tether has no license in Europe. Therefore, the regulators try to stop exchanges of from listing the USDT, or they push on exchanges to delist USDT. This is, of course, happening because Tether the Tether Foundation never declared to get a license in Europe. And this, you can say, it is against my first argument to say that crypto and DLT is borderless. I mean, technologically, it is borderless. So I could still send you my USDT, and we can still trade peer-to-peer. So this is borderless. But some regulated players, like exchanges, they are stopped from doing so. But as I said, regulated players, so centralized exchanges. If you look at decentralized exchanges, and this industry is growing a lot, there you see still USDT and other stable coins. So I would say we are still not there to say it's 100% borderless because of specific domestic regulation. We have some kind of borders, but everything becomes more and more harmonized. So you see, for example, in Dubai, you have the regulator BARA there, and you see licenses getting issued there. You see international players going also to Dubai. You see Abu Dhabi, where now Ton on Telegram have set their registration and their business up. So with these different jurisdictions, like I would say the Middle East is a very good or very strong jurisdiction, with not just Dubai and Abu Dhabi, but also Qatar and Saudi Arabia looking into crypto. So if this is like popping up and everyone has its own regulatory environment, then we can say at some point we really have a borderless environment for crypto.
What kind of top 3 things for a startup to look after at the very beginning from a legal perspective? Because limited money, limited time, limited resources. From your perspective, what's the top 3 things they should pay attention of?
So one thing which I'm always saying is that do it yourself. So every founder can do a lot of things by themselves. So when it comes to legal, regulatory, tax, accounting, writing a business plan, doing a nice presentation, doing like nice pitch deck, because what startups really fall for is to raise the first investment and then straight spend it for marketing and other stuff. I think it's very important for a startup to do it yourself, and do it yourself is I think very important, because by doing it yourself, startups also learn a lot. But at the same time, this is the second recommendation: don't be cheap. So if you need something, so I had it a lot. I had startups doing ICOs, and they did not want to spend 2,000 euro on a tax advisor or 2,000 euro on a lawyer, but they spent 70,000 euro for a marketing campaign for the ICO. And I was telling him it's totally nonsense. It's ridiculous, because a tax advisor, if you would have paid him 2,000 euro, he would have helped you to get your taxes back from the authority for the next 3 years. A lawyer, you pay him 2,000, he would have helped you to do stuff. And exactly this startup, which to Emma talked, they paid 70,000 euro in advance to a marketing campaign for an ICO. And then they realized that the marketing campaign totally failed, because the people to whom they paid the 70,000 euro, they didn't know how to do marketing for ICOs. The issuer was telling them, we want to do an airdrop. And then the people were coming back saying, okay, but what is if the person is using an Android device? I say, what are you talking? And then they realized, oh, that the marketing campaign was thinking of airdrop of an iPhone and not airdrop of a coin. So it was like totally ridiculous. And they were telling me, okay, can you now help us as a lawyer to get our 70,000 euro back? I said, not really. I mean, you paid them 70,000, so they're probably gone with that money. Why did you pay them 70,000? Oh, I thought because of if I do marketing, I can raise more money. I said, yeah, maybe, but you should have spent first like 2,000 euro for tax advice and 2,000 euro for a lawyer, and before you spending the 70,000 euro for a marketing campaign. So this is the second recommendation. And the third one is also very important to get the right stakeholders. So if you are like a startup, you can get, for example, advisors who support you for free, like business angels, advisors. And you should get like one who's like maybe a lawyer, one who's maybe like someone who's into business, and one who's a politician or a networker who really has a good network. So get the right stakeholders from the beginning on your side, like business angels, advisors, who really believe in you, because these people are going to be very important when it comes to up and downs, when you raise the next money, when you have maybe some issues with the regulator, when you have some issues with someone else. Try to have the people around you who support you in your business as stakeholders, as business angels, and this from the beginning. So these three advice, I think, is something very helpful for young startups.
Yeah, I think like tax and also like legal advisors are like the foundation of the house, right? And then before you spending money on painting of your house and whatever, I think it's really important foundation is right. And I want to give a question back to you on a third point, because at the beginning to find those stakeholders, I think sometimes it's hard for startups because you don't have money to give out. What kind of things that advisors are like often looking for in a startup to be able to help them? The smart money or not the smart money, just even like 1 hour per week, I believe that already helps a lot for startups. So what kind of things startup can trade?
So what startups definitely can trade, and what they also do, but with different people, is to, if you found a good advisor, a good stakeholder, someone really supportive from the beginning till the end, make some agreement, like a SAFT agreement, and promise them some either token or equity in the company in the future, and then really define in the SAFT agreement what the advisor should do, what you expect the advisor to do, and what the advisor is getting from you. So you don't have to pay the advisor straight from the beginning if you have like some advisors who really believe in your business, but you must give them something to keep them motivated. And this something could be a token, or this something could be equity. So any of these two. So a SAFT agreement, I think, is something which also a startup should have in place off the shelf, because if you find the right advisor and you think that the right advisor is a good fit for the startup, then you must keep this advisor, and the best way is to have a SAFT agreement. Yeah.
So you have seen a lot of this kind of contracts. What kind of red flags you see when startup is offering some offer? And on the other hand, also what kind of red flags you see those advisors are definitely not the right person for you, but they still close the deal, and you must see a lot of those. So can you give me example for both?
Yeah, I mean, a SAFT agreement or agreement between the startup and the advisor is important, but you shouldn't do it too complicated. So if the startup itself doesn't really understand what is written in the agreement, then probably it's too complicated. So you must keep it simple. You must keep it really to the basics. What do you expect to get from the advisor, and what are you willing to give, and when? So I think these three items should be in the agreement, and then what is around it, like, I don't know, the choice of law, which jurisdiction, and an NDA clause, and this kind of stuff you can always add. But if it's not really clear what you want to get from the advisor and what you're giving him, this is the red flag, and this I've seen a lot. And this is exactly the point when it comes to fights and to arguments later. And I've seen it a lot that for example, an ICO and an STO was then launched, and then, for example, the advisor said, okay, I now got my token and I straight gonna sell it. And straight selling the token, a big package of token, is very bad. That's why you should put in an agreement a time period where the stakeholder should keep the token. Let's say 3 months, 6 months, 1 month after the ICO. And not just with the advisor, lots of startups also fail to do so when they, for example, have an agreement with an exchange or with a launch pad where for example, the exchange is getting token for free, and then the exchange is giving these tokens away to the users, and then informing them like 10 minutes before the ICO comes and saying, oh, you can sell all the token now and make a profit. And if you do something like this, you really destroy the token generating event, like the ICO, the SEO, because if everyone is selling straight in the beginning, of course the price will fall. And this is something you should always keep in an agreement. Explain exactly what you give, what the advisor or the recipient of the token can do with the token. As I said, you should put like a period of time where you say you're not allowed to sell it. You should keep it in this time. But at the same time, you should also really define what you expect to get from the advisor. Do you expect to get from him 1 hour per week a call? Do you expect from him to get once a month review of a document? Do you expect to get from an advisor introduction to 10 potential investors? I mean, you should really like write it down. Many think, okay, I discussed it, we discussed it verbally, so that's fine, now we sign a contract. And the contract is not written, it's just written, yeah, we agreed that the advisor is supporting us. So, and this is something which I've seen a lot, that in the end, when they really fight, they fight exactly about these things. Because they, I didn't expect that I need to work for 1 hour per week. I mean, I was thinking of helping you 1 hour per month, and the other side is saying, oh, you didn't help me at all, it was not enough. So this is something which really happens a lot.
Like, I know there are a lot of like gold in this accelerator program that will be mentored by you in a couple of weeks. Can you tell me a little bit like scoops what you are going to bring on the table during the accelerator program to the startups? But don't reveal too much, okay? We are gonna, save the best for the last.
I mean, yes. I mean, what I'm doing for the past years, I'm always doing my presentation / my webcast workshop with all the participants on legal and regulatory topics, where we look into some things like regulatory environment and so on, and also where I give the participants the opportunity to also interact with me. It's not just a presentation; it is normally like a dialogue where I also give the opportunity to ask questions, and if there's already something where we can discuss it. So it's a little bit of from my side a presentation, but at the end it's also the opportunity to discuss and to really participate. And I just encourage all the participants to really take part in the discussion, not just log in and like do something besides that. Really take the opportunity and use this time to have the dialogue with me.
Have you ever had a mentor in your life?
Yes, I had many mentors in my life. So I had many mentors from the beginning, like when I started to work, for example, with PwC. I had a very good mentor who really also encouraged me to continue looking into Bitcoin and that stuff. But I also had during my career lots of people who I would say they were my mentors, who really helped me, telling me what to do and how to do it, and also showed me where the pitfalls are and what is difficult. And mentors I still also have now, even though I'm already a partner at the Big Four, but also in private life. My wife, my kids, they're also mentoring me and telling me very important things. So I think the mentorship is never ending. You will always have somewhere a mentor who helps you always. Yeah.
Yeah, I think life is so interesting, because a lot of mentors I see in this cohort, I see they have a lot of passion, a lot of love to give. And then what I observe is that in their life, they already receive some love and also mentorship from other people, like you said, from your family or even from the professional settings. And I think that is such a beautiful thing, and right now you are the one who's giving to the younger generation for the better for the world. So on behalf of BFG, I'm really, really grateful for having you in this cohort. And then me on the sideline, I also wish I can learn something from you as well. So really, really appreciate it. And thank you for your time and the work you are doing.
Sure. Thank you, man. Thank you for having me. And for me, also mentoring is learning. And I'm also very happy to learn from the students and from the participants of this program. And yeah, it's also always a given and getting. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your time. And then see you in a couple of weeks.
Sure. See you.